Alright, so this video will be really quick, but it's just going to, let me make this larger so that usually 120 is a little bit easier for 25 people are able to see it better. Alright, so this is the array activity 1, and basically this is just a note packet that I want to go through with you real quick. So it's introducing arrays. The array activity 2 packet will be the exercises and stuff you do with it. So what I tried to do is just put the most essential things that you need to know about arrays into as little space as possible. So you can read it or just go through it with me. So far you've worked with variables that can hold only one value. An array is an object that can store a group of values which all are the same data type. Okay, so arrays can hold it's one data type, but it can hold a lot of different information, okay? So you can have a lot of the same different, as many as you want of the same data types. So 3 ways to declare, define an array. This first way right here, you're creating a data array that holds double values, and in this case it can hold 25 of them. Same thing with this, it holds 25 of them, just formatted a little bit different. You'll either see 1 or 2 more often than 3, but you could do 3 as well. Okay, so yeah, the number 25 means that there's going to be 25 doubles in this data array. All right, so in this case, we haven't initialized we haven't assigned any values to your double data array. But right here, everything gets initialized to 0.0. If it's an int and you don't initialize variables, it will initialize to 0 automatically. Strings will go to null, and chars will go to a blank space without the double quotes. You got this word dynamic in here. Once you define your array, you can't grow or shrink it. It can't change its size. All right. So if you do that, we'll learn about if you need an array that increases or decreases in size. We'll learn about the array list in a few weeks. So just know that once you have your array, it can't change. Like if you've got this data that says there's 40 elements in it, that's how many elements there are going to be. Okay. So initializing arrays, the element values, you could do it one at a time like that. Typically you never see that. Typically you see something like that where element 0 is 1, element 1 is 5, element 2 is 10, and element 3 is 25. So like strings, I always tell students, okay, excuse me, this is your index. Index value 0, 1, 2, and 3. So we always start at 0, just like strings, we start at 0, then this is element 1, index 2, index 1, index 2, index 3, or element 0, element 1, element 2, element 3. Okay. So people that are more visual, think about the boxes. Okay, so we got array at element 0 is set to 1, array at element 1 is set to 5, array at element 2 is set to 10, and array coins element 3 is set to 25. Incompatible data type errors. This is an int. All data types have to be the same, so 17.5 is a double. That will give you an error. Incompatible data types. So the length, so we got this string called names, and the index is up here. We got index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the length of this is 5, but these are the index positions. Okay, because we start at 0, the last element is your index or your length minus 1, which gives us 4. So the length is 5. 5 minus 1 gives us the last index position, which is 4. And Jack is stored in there. So you can do a loop through this, just like with strings, you'd want to loop through it where you start at 0. If you wanted to hit every single element, you start at 0 to the length of the names array. So the length would come out to be 5, right? So you'd go through it once, which would be 0. So this right here, your answer is 5 right here. Okay. So at 0 is less than 5, so then you do whatever's in here, then you add 1 to it, so you go to position 1, and then 2, then 3, then 4, and then I would become 5. Is 5 less than the name's length? 5? No, so then your loop would be done. Let's see here. Strings length and array length. Okay, so the last chapter we work with dot length with strings, opening, closing parentheses. So with arrays, you just do dot length. You don't have and you can see it right here, you don't have an opening, closing parentheses after it. So you'll memorize that quick. Alright, so which of the following correctly initializes an array R to contain the 4 elements, each with value 0? Can't we do that? Initializes to value 0, yes. This does it too. Remember, again, if you have issues with that, just memorize this right here. So int, like this, it just initializes them to 0. And see here. Looks like 3 is good too. It does the same thing, initializes it to 0, and then this just reassigns it to 0. So this part right here is unnecessary, but it doesn't do anything. All of these initialize to 0. 2, the runtime error. Okay, so let's see here. We've got, refer to the code segment, you may assume that R is an array of int values. So sum is whatever's at position 0. So let's say we've got an array R, and this is where you would have to come up with this. R is equal to, let's think here. It's going to be int values, int R. This is what you're just going to make up here. So it could be like 1, 2, and 3. So sum after right here. So let's just do what we always do. So we've got sum, and then we've got I. And then we got is I less than R dot length. And then we can do I plus plus and then the value of sum. We can do I plus plus and do sum plus equals R. Okay, so if we were to do this, sum is equal to what at first? So sum is equal to 1. I is equal to 0. 0 is less than, the length is 3, because there's 3 elements. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. And then we got I plus plus, so I becomes 1. So I should put that down right there. I is 1. And then sum becomes whatever R is 0 plus the value of sum. So it'd be 1 plus 1 makes it 2, right? So sum is already 1. I guess if we were to rewrite this, we could say 2 is equal to the sum 1 plus 1. Okay. Okay. Let me see here. We go back up is I, which is 1 less than 3. Yes, so I becomes 2. Okay. And then what do we have? We have 2 plus what's in position 1, which is 2. And that would be 4. So sum is now 4. Okay. So then we do it again is 2 less than 3. Yes, it is. So I becomes 3. And then what it tries to do, or wait a second, I screwed this up. I screwed this up. This is not right. Oh, all right. So let's go back. I'm sorry. So when we do this again, sum is 1, I is 0, and then 0 is less than 3. Okay. And let me do my index up here as well. Index 0, 1, 2. Okay. So then we've got I becomes 1, and then so sum was what? Sum was 1 plus what's in position 1. It's 2. That's making 2. Sorry guys, I made a mistake. So this is equal to 3. So sum is now 3. I is 1. Is 1 less than 3? Yes. So I becomes 2. So sum is equal to what? 3 plus what's in position 2? It's 3. So sum is now 6. Okay. So sum is 6. And I is 2. Is 2 less than 3? Yes. So I becomes 3. Is there anything, so I becomes 3 because we add one I plus plus to it. So now we're trying to do this, right? So is there anything in position 3 right here? Is there an index position 3? Nope. So because the way that this is set up improperly, you have a runtime error. Okay. So you would want to fix that. You'd have to put the I plus plus after, I plus plus here and get rid of it here. And that would actually fix this problem. Okay. And then it would add up position 0 through 0, 1, and 2. Okay. So your answer is E. And that's it for this.